Hey there, welcome. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Delighted to share this time with you because we're going to be having a conversation that I hope you'll enjoy. I am Priscilla and this is The Chat. I'm so glad you're joining me. Pull up a chair, enjoy. We're going to be talking to a personality whose ministry, whose songwriting, whose music has gone literally around the world. She is a delight to know. I cannot wait to sit down and chat with her and with you. Stay tuned. I am so glad that you are joining me because we're getting to have an opportunity to sit down with a young lady that I just think is fantastic. At 23 years old, she is already a Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter. She is an author. She has a ministry to young women in particular all over who she is mobilizing and helping to remind about their value and their significance. And so I'm so excited to sit down with her and just kind of pick her brain a little bit and just kind of get into what makes her Jamie Grace. Will you please welcome her to the program today? I'm so glad we get to sit down. Yes. This is Jamie Grace.
Hi.
I'm so glad to sit and talk with you.
Thank
now, I want to
you.
make sure you see my highlight,
Yes.
my little blue
oh
over
my
here.
goodness, Priscilla inspired my hair. So that's why I have color in my hair.
No, that is not the way it went. That's not the way it went. You happen to just walk with clip-ins with you.
I keep extra clip-ins, extra tutus, extra feather earrings, extra everything.
Yeah, I said to her in the back, I said, I want to wear a tutu. And she said,
I have a pink one and a white one. Which color do you want?
Who walks around with tutus and clip-ins?
Just you never know when I have extra cowboy boots, anything you need that is colorful and fancy, I got it. So
well, you do have a very unique style that you're kind of known for, and you know what? Really, it's a good thing because you really catch the eye of a lot of young women who are kind of watching you and seeing you, and they're excited by what they see, and you kind of draw them into your experience, and then you point them to purity. To holiness. What is your message? What is it that you hope to do and to bring to particularly young women, but women of all ages?
Well, where the whole style thing came from, I have to make sure that I accredit that all to my mother. You know, my dad's a pastor. My mom was a stay-at-home homeschool mom, and our family lived off of $350 a month for my entire childhood. My mom shopped at the Goodwill and got us cowboy boots and cowboy hats and bolo ties before they were in style. So that's where this whole style thing came from, my mother.
Because you'll wear a cowboy boot with anything.
Oh my, sweatpants, dresses, anything. There's probably one day a week that I don't wear boots. Like I have to have my boots, my bolos. My sister always has a hat, all the time. But as far as my message, you know, I remember when I was a kid, I was going through a lot of stuff, and I just had a lot of people that poured into my heart and reminded me of my value in Christ, and that it wasn't in what I looked like or what my health was like, or what my body was like, but that it was how I really understood that I was a child of the King. And so for me, I realized that not a lot of girls know that. Not every girl knows that she's a daughter of the King. Some grown women weren't told that by their fathers. And so I just really want to continue to put that message out there, like you're a child of the King. Your father is a king, so you're a prince. Your father is a king, so you're a princess. And just encourage people to walk that out and live in that freedom that we are. I mean, we're not a big deal, but our dad is, so that's pretty cool.
Exactly, right? Okay, tell us, we want to know about your childhood and a little bit about you because we know your music, we hear you on the radio, we kind of see you from afar and see all these fantastic things that have been happening, you and your highlights and your boots and your tutus. We want to know where you came from. Where are you from? Tell us about your growing up. Tell us about your mom and your dad.
I'm from Stone Mountain, Georgia, just east of Atlanta. We moved there when I was 10 and a half months old. So I like to say I'm from LA, but I'm from Atlanta. So I've lived in Georgia my whole life. My daddy started our church when I was 1 or 2 years old.
Is he still pastoring?
Yeah, he's still pastoring. I'm the young adult leader. I preach to the 18 and up ministry. My sister is married, and she and her husband are both in ministry. Our mom's the co-pastor with my dad. And we just love Jesus, and we just love serving. And we didn't grow up with a lot, but we grew up like knowing that whatever you have, you're supposed to use that to give to other people and to love on other people, because that's what Jesus would do. And so there was a time where we had 2 cars, but we gave one away to a family in our church because they didn't have one. And for us, that wasn't like, ooh, look at our parents and how great they are. It was just no, this family needed a car. And so that's just kind of how we grew up, and
Yeah.
just kind of how our mentality always was. And then as we got to like high school, our grandfather started to bless us with instruments. That was one really cool thing, like that the Lord's always done, is that people have always just really just been really gracious to us, and just blessing us, our family, with like a vacation, or blessing our family with groceries when we were younger. And so that was a huge blessing for us. And when we were in high school, our grandfather blessed us with a drum set and a guitar, and we were the loudest like children that you can possibly imagine.
How many siblings?
Oh, just two.
Okay, so it's just the two of you.
Yeah, I mean, we're a pastor, so, you know, always kids in and out of the house,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah,
Open door
I mean, you've got
policy.
me. It sounds like 30 children in the house.
Yeah.
So I was just so loud. I didn't know how to play the drums, but I didn't care. There's something you can hit on. And so we're always just making music and always being loud, and we were homeschooled, and so just always just at home, just together.
Well,
and
what do you
making
attribute,
music.
though, to your eclectic style of music? Because the reality is, it's not like you fit into the gospel bubble. You don't necessarily fit into the contemporary bubble. You have a mixture that kind of crosses all these genres.
Yeah.
And what do you attribute that to?
Our mom did the very, you know, typical black woman from Atlanta thing. She sang Southern gospel. You know, that's what all the black ladies in Atlanta do.
Do they?
Yeah, all of them. It's so typical. We listen to Bill Gaither all the time. We have a secret club about it. So our mom sang Southern gospel growing up, and our dad is all about T-Bone, like Christian hip hop. And so, like, y'all, I don't even know if you know what that is. And so our dad loved like Christian hip hop, and our mom loves Southern gospel. And my very first solo was Janet Paschal's Born Again, which is a Southern gospel song. So we grew up with a very eclectic like style of music that we listened to. And then Morgan, my sister, and I, we've tried every style of music you can imagine. I mean, we started with like playing skillet type music, and then into Super Chick, and then Barlow Girl, then Kirk Franklin, and then all that kind of stuff. And it's funny because every time Morgan and I would show up to a church event to sing, people would always look at us and they'd say, "Oh, y'all gonna be the next Mary Mary," for
Gospel.
obvious reasons. And so, and then
I don't know why.
it's because they're sisters, and so. And then I'd like pull my drumsticks out of my back pocket and be like, "Psych, we gonna be skillet." And so, so it's great. So we just listened to a whole lot of music. I mean, from Zoe Girl to Showbread to like to Out of Eden to Kirk Franklin to Fred Hammond. Like we just loved all kinds of music about Jesus, and I think it just somewhere along the way it just kind of became
Do you
me.
do other music other than Christian music, though?
Yeah, Morgan, my sister, and I, we have a country duo called Harper Still. Usually pull out the banjo, and she's got her mandolin, and we love making. It's normal. It's so
I don't know
normal.
that I've
It's
ever
so
seen a
normal.
black woman with a banjo.
You know what?
I-
I don't know if I have either, girl. I don't know if I have either. I love the way the banjo sounds. I love Need to Breathe. Like, my sister and I, we love Need to Breathe. Yes.
What is Need to Breathe?
Girl, I gotta get you started. You're gonna love them. They're so good.
It's a group.
Yes, it's
Need
two
to Breathe.
brothers,
Okay.
and then some other guys in the band, but they're not important. I'm just kidding. They're all important. They're all great. And that was my first banjo solo that I learned. And then I learned some like Little Big Town stuff, but I just love playing the banjo
So
so
all
much.
kinds of music.
Yeah, I just love
and
it.
all of that informs the sound that you have now as Jamie Grace.
We grew. Our church is also, you know, very diverse, and you know, a lot of people from Jamaica and Guyana and, you know, Mexico and St.
My
Kitts.
mom's
and
from
so,
Guyana.
Yes, I think that's the coolest thing ever. Like, I think culture is so fantastic. When I was in college, I told my professor I was half Filipino, but I just like love.
You lied to your professor?
I didn't lie. I just was appreciating other cultures in my conversation. And then he asked me, it was a cultural class, and so he was like, "Jamie Grace, could you speak to the class on what it's like to be an Asian American?"
And did you do it?
I
That's
was
the
like,
question.
"I'm black." Psych. I don't know nothing. But yeah, I just love culture so much. So we grew up around, and I think that's so important for parents to raise their children around families that don't speak the same languages and don't eat the same food. I mean, because when we get to heaven, everybody's not going to look like us. And so I think it's important to be around different cultures and food and people and languages and music. And honestly, I think that's my parents intentionally making sure that my doctor was from Norway, that my dentist was from Africa, that our church family was diverse. I think that's what made me into this
Because, you
dorky
know,
person.
it is true that it's very, you have to be intentional about doing that.
Yeah.
Because you kind of live around a pocket of people that probably look like you. All the kids in your kid's school kind of look like the kids, your kid. And so we kind of do that unintentionally. The church we go to, it's going to be a church that kind of looks like you.
Yeah.
And so if we're not intentional about making sure our children and us, that we're around other types of people sensitive to their needs and their preferences, then you're right. It'll kind of get lost in the shuffle of things that are important on the list of things.
Yeah, for sure. And like you're saying, a lot of times it's not even intentional. You just don't really realize it. And so I know for me, when I got to college and I kind of spent time around like even more people from different cultures and backgrounds, it was really awesome. So I'm really glad that I grew up that way and glad that now that it flows into my music and my ministry as well. So.
Well, one thing that I appreciate you, and we'll talk about this more after the break, if we make it back around to it. There's so many things to talk about. One of the things I appreciate about you, Jamie Grace, she came to visit my church. She was not singing or anything. She was just coming. Her and Morgan were coming to church.
And it was fantastic.
Yes, so we all sat together in church, and that was our second time meeting each other. We'd only met one time before, very briefly at an event, but then we came, had church. And then afterwards, we wanted to go eat. And, it's like, she's Jamie Grace. She's got a Grammy nomination. I'm thinking, where do I take her to eat? And she said, well, we really would like, we love Mexican food, and we'd love to get some Mexican food. The best Mexican food I know of in my neck of the woods is this little hole-in-the-wall place that's attached to a gas station. So I was thinking to myself, do I brave taking Jamie Grace to the gas station for Mexican food? And I knew once I got you in there, you would be so glad that you went to the gas station for Mexican food. But I was a little hesitant about it at first. But Jamie Grace, the Grammy-nominated Jamie Grace, and her beautiful, beautiful sister Morgan and her husband came with us to the gas station. They are so down home and so regular that we sat there in the gas station eating guacamole and salsa.
Come on.
And that is when I knew you were my people. That is when I knew you were my people.
I love it so much.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Priscilla, and I wanted to take an opportunity to invite you personally to join me for a 7-session Bible study on the armor of God. We'll dive deeply into what it means to be equipped to stand firm against the schemes of the enemy. He is very real, and he has been so strategic and targeted in his attacks against us. Why shouldn't we be equally strategic and targeted in standing firm against him? And you and I have an opportunity to suit up, to put on some armor that works, and to go to battle and to see victory declared in our lives and in the lives of those people that we love. This Bible study will be one that will change our lives forever and will help us to walk in victory. So plan to join me, won't you? The Armor of God. I am having so much fun. We are having so much fun because the very bubbly, gregarious, outgoing, tutu-wearing Jamie Grace is in the house with us today. We're so glad you're here, Jamie.
Thank you so much.
So what keeps you grounded? Because you are down to earth. You did eat Mexican food with me in a gas station.
Oh, yes, yes.
And yet you are Grammy nominated. Your songs are heard over the radio. You're kind of in high demand, and yet you are so regular. How do you keep yourself grounded?
Well, I do want to make sure that everybody knows that you were so sweet about the Mexican restaurant thing. Myself and my sister and her husband, we were the ones going, we're going to church with Priscilla. Like, we were stressing out because my dad's a pastor and thinks your dad is just such a great pastor as well. So I just want to point out that it was definitely mutual, if not even more on our end. We were so nervous to go to church with you, to the point where when we sat down and you said, do I want to sit next to my sister? And she looks at me, she goes, no, I'm sitting next to Priscilla. So Priscilla sat in the middle of us at church because we couldn't decide who got to sit with you. Just want to make sure you know that's why you're in the middle. But no, I mean, I feel so blessed to have the family that I have, honestly. When I graduated from university, I moved out, just total independence. I bought the house next door to my mom and dad. And I just wanted to do my own thing.
How young were you when the music thing started? Like in terms of you doing it for a livelihood?
Yeah, I was 19 when this started as a living, and then 20 when I graduated and moved out.
Okay.
Which 20 was, I mean, I get that like living next door to my parents doesn't seem like a huge deal, but it was kind of my way of like trying to gain a little bit of independence. But the last couple of years, if I'm just being totally honest, I started to just see things in my character that I wasn't all about. Like, I wasn't like becoming like some cruel human or anything, but I noticed that I was like becoming like way brattier. I was becoming way too excited about the fact that people get excited about Jamie Grace. And so I just kind of went to my parents and it was like, can I move back in for a year and just be under your covering again? Because I wanted to see what it felt like again for my parents to walk by my room and say, you need to clean that up. And I felt like I needed that discipline.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
So you're 23 years old, and this is the wisdom that bubbles up in your life, that you need to be humbled and you want to move back in with your parents. Where did you come from?
It wasn't all.
You're a 23-year-old single woman.
Yes.
What does dating, what does all that look like for you? How do you handle that area of your life?
Let's go there. It is the struggle. I'm on that struggle bus. No, I'm just kidding. I think a lot of times, because I talk about being single a lot, and I sing about it in probably 90% of my songs. And I think when people hear me talk about being single, it a lot of times comes across as I'm single because I have to be, or like I'm single because I'm just so sad and alone. But honestly, it's just a choice because I realize that God's plans are so much greater than my own.
Are you saying you don't want to be married? Or are you
No, I totally want to be married. I feel like I can't rush it. You know, I'm not a casual dater at all. I'm a very intentional person, and so I plan on dating or courting. I'm kind of old-fashioned, or courting with the intention of marriage.
Yeah.
So my heart is just in this place of waiting for whoever God has that's going to be intentional. You know, I don't do that. Hey girl, you know, let me text you for a couple months and then we'll go to Starbucks. No, if you want to go out with me, you should just say, I'm interested in you. You know, let's go out. So I'm honestly just waiting for whoever the Lord has sent that is going to be like intentional and that knows what the plan is, because I'm not planning on just kind of just dating just to be dating. I think our hearts are too precious and too sacred to just spend them just for no reason at all. My parents have been married.
That's kind of the opposite of what you see happening in the culture, though.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
So is it hard for you to make that kind of a stand?
Well, you know? No, for sure. I mean, even in a non-romantic sense, most of the guys that I hang out with, like my guy friends, even when I'm talking to them, they're like, oh, well, I'm not trying to get married. I'm just trying to, you know, date for a while. And so it's very odd. I don't meet many people that are, you know, that are my age that are like marriage minded, I guess that's the right word. And so, you know, I've tried Christian Mingle match. I'm just kidding. But nah, I'm just kidding. I'm serious. Please buy my hair extensions on my website so I can afford Match.com. That'd be great. But I just, I don't meet many young people that are marriage minded. And I think I think it makes more sense to go that route. My parents have been married for 28 years, and my sister has been married for 5 years.
Yeah.
And I was not there when my parents met, but I was there, obviously. But I was in college with my sister when she met her husband, who also went to college with us, Point University. And so I got to see this beautiful like friendship happen, and then it turned into him being intentional and it's starting something more, and then him just really pursuing her heart in a godly way.
How do you deal with loneliness? How do you deal with that? Because I hear a lot of. And so your life is so full of people. There are always people around you, whether you're in a concert or whether
but there's a strong desire for me to be married. So I totally know what you mean.
So how do you deal with that when you're in those segments of time where you're alone in the house, alone or wherever? How do you just get over that hurdle?
Honestly, before I even get over the hurdle, like I'm not gonna lie, there's lots of crying. There's lots of really sappy songs that I probably shouldn't play because they make me even more sad. A lot of Nicholas Sparks movies, and a whole lot of Jets Pizza. I hope I get an endorsement out of this. That's what happens like pre-hurdle. But like getting over that, it's truly just realizing that like the Lord is the greatest thing that I need. I have a song on my last record called My First Love, and it was actually written out of a night of I watched The Notebook and I was eating an entire buffalo chicken, like 8 square pizza from Jets Pizza. Ooh, glory, that's so good. I just wanted to clap, sorry. But I was eating that and I was just having one of those sappy nights. It was my parents' wedding anniversary. My sister and her husband, their wedding anniversaries are 5 days apart. So I was all by myself and I was just feeling so alone, like that no one was there for me. And it was almost as if there's like 3 times in my life where the Lord has spoken audibly to me. Like I know it was his voice. And it was as he spoke to me and he said, Jamie Grace, am I not enough for you? And it was just this reality that even though, like, I would plan on being married at 19 or 20 years old. And
that was your plan?
That was totally my plan. Like, I've been praying for my husband since I was 14, and the journal and everything, like the purity ring, like that's me. I'm that typical preacher's kid from south of the Mason-Dixon that has been praying for her husband her whole life. But the Lord was like, joke's on you. But that's okay, because I'm realizing that through this, I'm able to have these experiences with the Lord that I might not have if I were married, or have these experiences with the girls that I mentor that I wouldn't have if I were married, have these experiences with my goddaughter that I might not have if I were married right now. So I just choose to just appreciate who the Lord is to me and what he's given me, and just keep waiting. And if you guys have any sons between the ages of 22 and 31, just give me a call, 770. I'm just kidding.
So not above 31. That's just too much.
There comes a time where you can't be picky. So we'll see.
Any race, any
race, any ethnicity. Just basically my list for like a husband is like breathing.
No, that is not. We are not gonna let her get away with that list right there. No, that's not gonna work for us.
Yeah. So I'm really picky when it comes to other stuff. I'm picky about like open the door of the car and like pay for dinner. I'm so old fashioned.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's hard for me, because I'm 90 years old when it comes to my standards, I guess. So
good for you. Good for you. You should be. Stay 90.
Yes,
but just keep wearing the extensions in your hair.
Okay, girl. I got you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And the tutus. Okay, so I do want to ask you about this, because this is something I don't think a lot of people know about you. You have had a struggle. Is it your whole life?
Yeah, since I was 9 is when it really started, yeah.
Okay, so just tell us what the struggle is, because I don't think a lot of people know that you deal with this. And how do you deal with it?
Yeah, I was diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome when I was 11 years old, and also OCD, ADHD, and anxiety. And Tourette's syndrome is a neurobiological, meaning brain condition, that causes you to make movements and sounds called tics that you can't control. So from ages 9 to 15, my Tourette was so severe that literally from walking to the end of that couch to the end of this couch, I would fall on the floor from just twitching so much, my limbs going everywhere. And I used to wear gloves on my hands because I would accidentally punch things and I would get my knuckles bruised. And my mom actually has scars on her legs from when she would walk behind me in the grocery store, because my legs would kick, so that I wouldn't hurt my legs on a shelf. She would walk behind me and take the hit for me. And I went through a lot of that physically, and a lot of medication, a lot of that kind of thing. When I was 16, I stopped medication because I wanted to try college without medicine. And now I don't take medicine. I have a mouthpiece that actually helps with my tics. It's a really crazy nerve kind of thing that it does. But it was definitely.
You wear it all the time?
I don't have it in now.
Okay.
I don't wear it at work. So, and when I eat, because that would be I eat too much to try to wear a mouthpiece at the same time. Taco Bell.
Mexican food gas station.
Girl, you know. But it was really difficult for me. And I dealt with, being sick, and then also, not having a lot of friends. I was called retarded all the time, which I'm a huge person against the word retarded. If you're picking on, that's not okay. And I struggled with my faith. I didn't understand how my daddy was the preacher man. Like, my daddy was the one that prayed with people and stuff happened. My daddy was the one that counseled couples and they renewed their vows. Like, what's going on here, God?
Ta-da.
Yeah, why won't you fix me? And I went through this entire period, honestly, from like 9 to 15 years old, where I just really lost trust in God, and I just really lost my hope in him. I didn't lose faith in God, but I just lost the ability to understand that he loved me. And somewhere in high school, I really just got reconnected with my favorite scripture, and it's Psalms 30, verse 5. And it says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And it was just this realization that even though, I'm twitching now, because I don't have it in my mouthpiece, but even though, I face things in my life that I can't control, I'm not the only person that faces things that they can't control. We all have things, whether it's with your health or your family or your children or your school or, work, whatever it is. But the beauty in it is that weeping may endure for a night. Weeping may endure for second grade. Weeping may endure for high school. Weeping may endure for that 7th year of your marriage. Weeping may endure for a night, but God's joy, it ain't never left. It ain't about to start. His joy will come in the morning. And I like to think of that as the MOUR, the morning. His joy will be there in the morning. And so my life is far from perfect. My sister and I, our mom is really sick, and we're battling through that as well right now. But we just understand that God's joy is still there. His peace is still there. And, you know, we might not know what happens tomorrow. We might not know what happens in the coming weeks, the coming years, but we know what happened 2,000 years ago. And we know that we were given a king that loves us more than we can imagine. So I say it, and sometimes it's easier said than to believe it and to walk it out. But that's where a lot of my music comes from, and that's where a lot of my messages come from when I, you know, speak and stuff, is that God's joy has not left us, and you have to choose to walk in it. Like, you could choose to be a brat about it, which I do a lot. Like, I love to close myself in my room and play sad music, or I can choose to go to my Father, choose to go to the people that He's put in my life, and choose to walk in His peace.
That's good, isn't it? That's good. You are a beautiful, delightful, fantastic young woman, and you need to know we are for you. We are for you. We are excited about everything that's happening in your life. I'm so glad that she has joined us today, and she's talked a lot about this sister of hers named Morgan. And so listen, you need to know this is just part one of a conversation we're going to keep having. We're going to come back. When we do come back, it'll be a part two conversation. You're going to want to make sure that you come back and join us for that, because we're going to join Morgan to this conversation, talk to her a little bit about what's going on in her music and in her life and how the two connect on a regular basis. Then we're going to have them sing for us as well, which I think is going to be awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. You guys help me to thank Jamie Grace.